Right then, you lot. My name is Nathan, and today we are making some ramen. It's been a minute since I've been on the YouTube. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday. We are uploading on a Tuesday. It's because I had a really special live stream yesterday on TikTok. I imagine if you're watching this, some of you did tune into that. For those that did, thank you very much. For those that didn't, don't worry. We're going to be doing another one very soon. It was a very successful live. We had 38,000 people in it total. We brought some new people over from the live stream to the YouTube. So if this is the first time you're watching me here, welcome. I'm Nathan. I'm hungry, and we're gonna make some very simple, delicious, easy, tasty food. What we're gonna be making today is my ramen video from TikTok, which as of now has, I think, over 620,000 views. It was also featured on the Daily Mail as well, which is just incredible. We're just gonna be doing a full breakdown of it today and how you can make it at home for yourself. Now, the first thing you're gonna need is a pack of ramen. And I believe Coca is the best. Get whatever the fuck you want. I'm not here to argue with you. Do not use pot noodle. I repeat, do not use pot noodle. Thank you. We're using the spicy stir fry today, and we're gonna be using all the seasonings from this, and we're gonna cook it as the packet instruction says it is. We're also gonna be topping it off with a nice soft boiled egg, some steak, some spring onions, some fresh chili, and some coriander or parsley, whatever I have in the fridge. With some bok choy as well, or pak choy. Still don't know which one it is. I don't know the difference between bok choy and pak choy. If you know, let me know, because I would love to know. Right, let's just jump straight into this. The first thing we're gonna do is cook our eggs. Now, if we want a nice, soft, boiled egg, where it's nicely cooked, but still a little bit runny in the middle, we wanna be cooking it between 6 and 7 minutes, all depending on the size of your egg. If you got a small egg, 6 minutes. If you got a big egg, 7 minutes. So anywhere in the middle of that, 6.5 minutes will do you nicely. If you want a hard-boiled egg, just cook it for like 8 to 9 minutes, a bit longer, and you should be good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna gently place our eggs into a boiling pan of water, making sure it's fully covering the eggs. We're gonna cook it for 6 to 7 minutes, depending on how big they are. I'm cooking mine for around 6.5, 6 minutes 40 today. And as soon as we're cooked, we're then gonna place it into an ice bath. This will just ensure that the residual heat is no longer gonna overcook your egg, and you're still gonna have that nice soft center. So like I said in my previous steak video, by the way, that video's done really well, so I appreciate everyone that's watched it. I'll link it somewhere here. We don't normally cook steak in lots of spices and stuff. We usually just cook it with butter, garlic, aromatics such as thyme, rosemary, stuff like that. But today is going to be an exception. We are going to cover this with some spices and let it marinate for a little bit. You might be asking why. That's because we're quickly cooking this today, and because it's ramen, there is already a lot of flavors going on. So I actually want to match the meat with all the ramen flavors, with the chili, with the broth, and all the other ingredients we're going to be placing in today. So I'm going to be seasoning this with smoked paprika, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, and ground cumin, with some oil, salt, and pepper as well. And you're gonna make sure this is evenly covered, rub it all in on all sides, and we're gonna let that sit on the side for 15 minutes. And as usual, we're gonna let it come up to room temperature, as we don't wanna cook a steak fridge cold. So these are the garnishes I'll be using today. Some coriander, a fresh red chili, which we're just gonna slice nice and thin on an angle, and of course some spring onion, or scallions, what they call it in America. Now, we're gonna move on to the noodles. So most of the time with these sort of noodles is, you cook it in the liquid, you then drain it, add some packet seasoning, add a little bit more liquid, and you mix it, and it's more of a dry noodle. But we're going for a ramen broth today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the liquid, and then we're gonna drop the noodles in and cook it all in one pan. Today, I've got a little bit of chicken stock, and normally I wouldn't have any chicken stock, but it's just because I defrosted some for another video later on in the week, so I have some spare. So I'm gonna cook this in some chicken stock, some water, some soy sauce, some gochujang, some black bean garlic sauce, and a tiny little bit of sesame oil. We're gonna heat all of this up together, and then when we need to drop noodles, we'll drop the noodles in with the packet seasoning, and we're just gonna cook it all in one pan, and then we're ready to serve up. It's that simple, really. We're just adding some extra flavors, some extra spices that we have in our cupboards. Whilst that ramen's cooking on the side, you're then gonna drop in your bok choy or pak choy or whatever it is, still haven't decided. Green thing. Yeah. Now, obviously, I've got a bit ahead of myself here, as we still have this steak to cook. We're gonna cook the steak for around 2 minutes on each side. It's only a thin steak, and we do wanna serve it a medium rare. So for the steak, we're just gonna get a pan nice and hot, sear the fat cap, and then we're gonna drop it on one side, cook it for 2 minutes, flip it, cook it for another 2 minutes, add a knob of butter, baste it, pull it off, let it rest on the side. Just before we assemble the ramen bowl, we're then gonna cut it in nice thin strips on an angle, ready to serve. So what you saw there is I prepped my steak. I think it's a little bit overcooked, but we move on. I removed the shell from the egg, I cut it in half, and it's a perfect soft boil. I then seasoned it with some salt, pepper, and sesame seeds for some texture. And now we're just gonna assemble it all together. So I think that means one thing. Let's do a little montage. The flavors are just incredible. For a packet ramen with the extra flavors, this is an incredible little dish. So much flavor, lots of spice. The steak is delicious. I know those eggs are gonna be incredible. The fresh chopped garnish just adds a really nice fresh crunch to it. And overall, it's just a banging dish. You know, I'm gonna have to give this an 8 out of 10. So thank you very much for everyone that's watched this video. Let me know in the comments what I should make next. And yeah, I'll see you later.